you're one of with the Actors Audition Club. You're one of our unique members who have been strictly virtual sessions via Zoom.
Yeah.
You've spent a lot of time with Brandon here. Brandon's worked with you a lot. So,
Yes.
Brandon, can you talk a little bit about your process working with Nitu and vice versa? As I know you guys had a lot of fun shooting a lot of auditions over the past couple years.
Oh yeah, Nitu, you're always fantastic. I always look forward to our sessions, and we always have a nice chat before. And sometimes we get into little arguments about how we want to do things, and but it's always a good creative energy where there's well, no, I don't like that because of blah blah blah, and well, I like this because of blah blah blah. Yeah. Oh, okay, well, maybe we can find a fine median in there, and it's always great. It's always a really fun time.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's always a little wine every now and again, and that's
to loosen me up, especially if I'm nervous about something. It's like as Brandon knows, I just have, or if there's I don't know, I'm a method actor, okay? So she's drinking whiskey in the scene. You best believe I'm drinking whiskey.
Yeah, you gotta drink whiskey. When it calls for it, you gotta do it.
Sometimes it's it just helps to loosen me up. But I will say that Brandon, I booked Rabbit Hole through Brandon. He was with me from the very beginning, from when I first got the first audition to having to do a retape, and it went off to the producers, and it was Brandon the whole thing. So Rabbit Hole was the first thing that I booked through with you guys. So,
nice.
So that was really great. And I remember messaging him and being like, "Oh my God, Brandon!"
I remember us having to do that scene 3 different ways, and you had it all planned out, and you were like, okay, so this way is gonna happen like this, and then I need to mess up my shirt for this scene because it has to be like that. Oh, it was great.
Because I had her, because they didn't they just said I was a detective, so they didn't really say. Normally you get the descriptive character of oh, she's bubbly and she's this and she's they didn't really have that for her. And I didn't really know what time of day this was taking place. I didn't really know. So I just was kind of okay, I'm just going to give them 3 different versions of her. I don't think I did that in the initial tape, but I did it in the callback tape. And I just did it. So the coffee one, I just pictured, all those cop shows with overweight white detective, and he's grumbling to the desk, and he takes a sip of coffee and he spills it, takes a paper and he's wiping it off, and he's yeah, this is Joe, what do you want, so I was trying to pick that. And
because did casting ask you to do it 3 different ways, or did you just did you plan to do it 3 different ways?
I think I planned it.
Yeah, I think you planned
3 different
it.
ways.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the auditions that it was weird because I just felt like I fully saw the scene, I guess. Whereas normally sometimes I get auditions and I'm just I don't know what they want. What is this scene? I could do it like this, or I could do it like this, but which way is the right way? I don't know, and not that there's a right way, but I just, with that audition, for some reason, I just was very clear about, okay, I want to do it like this and this and this. And I think I also had a moment where, and I think I said this to you, Brandon, I'm not sure, but we had been doing self-tapes for over a year now. And I don't think that I allowed myself to play. And that scene allowed me to, I just gave myself permission to play with that audition. Because I just was I'm at home. Why wouldn't I use, not things that are distracting to the tape, but why wouldn't I use things that would give life to the scene? Why would I just have it just me in this back wall and play it straight on an, pretend I'm at a desk. I'll have a fake phone, use my phone, And for me, I think it wasn't so much about winning the audition, but it was almost, this sounds so cliche to say, but it wasn't about winning the audition. It was more of giving the casting director something entertaining to watch, because I just they're going to watch the same type of tape over and over and over again. And I guess it was kind of risky for me to do it the way that I did it. But I mean, I booked the job, so
That's wicked. That's like couple things. One of our favorite things in life here at Actors Audition Club is getting the good news when you book. We always freak out over that, and I send messages to Brandon. He sends messages to me. We send emails back. So thank you for letting us know about that. Yeah, that's great.
And like, I think there's always, especially when you're doing good work, there's always a lot of risk involved.
Yeah.
And like, the more you're willing to risk, the better the outcome's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you're on that edge. You're always teetering on that edge. And like, that's always engaging because you never know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. And I had fun with it. I think that was, I feel like I remember telling you, Brennan, I was like, oh my God, this is fun. Let's do this again. You know, it's one of those auditions where you're just kind of like, this is why I'm an actor, because I love it. Like, I love this, you know, like, let's do it again. Let's see what else I can do with it, you know?
That's really one of
the show hadn't come out at that point, so we didn't know anything about this show at all.
Season, I didn't even know Kiefer Sutherland was in it. Like, I saw that he was the executive producer, but I didn't know that he was starring in it. And I didn't know that my scene was with him until wardrobe.
Yep.
Nice.
And then I was kind of like, oh, okay. So, yeah, and I don't think even when it just came out like 3 weeks ago now, 3, 4, I mean, I still have moments where I have to like kind of pat myself on the back a little bit, or just be like, Nitu, this was actually a really big booking. Like, it's a big American network TV show. They have like Charles Dance from Game of Thrones in it, and it Maida Golding from Empire. Obviously Kiefer Sutherland from Designated Survivor and 24. Like, to be in a scene with them and to be on set with all of them, like, it's crazy that, you know, when it's happening during the moment, you don't grasp the enormity of what it is that I just booked until like now it's a year. Like, I went to my first like kind of screen premiere, which is crazy to see myself on a big screen, and it's a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Nitu Thakur, everyone. Round of applause. And what's really cool about that is that like you're saying that's really the biggest, most high profile, probably highest budget thing that you've done.
Yeah.
And you got it by playing the most. Like you got it rather than getting stressed out and being like, oh my God, this is a big thing. This is a big deal. I got to make sure I really nail it and don't make a mistake. You got it by like, you know what? I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to make something that's entertaining, show the casting director what I can do, how I can hold a frame. And that's probably why you booked it. Unleashing yourself like that. I love that. That's I feel like that's the only surefire way to make sure you're enjoying everything, is you have to enjoy the process of auditioning, that this is a time to play, this is a time to create. One of our coaches, Tom Todoroff, is always, it's called a play. It's not called a serious. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be joyful.
Yeah.
And that's probably, if you were to ask, like, how do you do well at auditioning? Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like the same advice for everything in life. Oh, you should probably be enjoying it and being playful and having fun.
Yeah.
We have a special guest that we want to bring into the studio here because she has worked with you many a time internationally over the borders from New York City. It's Erin Elizabeth Reed.
Yeah.
I was gonna message you to be like, I miss you so much.
I think about you often, and I'm so happy to be here. I was tearing up backstage listening to this last little story of yours. You hit me in all the heart muscles, Nitu. You always do, and I'm just so happy and excited and proud of you. Oh God, you're bringing me on. I'm gonna cry.
Thank you. I was like, just the other day, I was like, I want to text Erin just to be like, I miss you. And I'm like, maybe should I think that's weird? Because
yeah. Well, I saw that you had your Rabbit Hole premiere up, and I didn't realize that you had booked it last year. So I thought it was a more recent booking. And I was like, well, I haven't heard from her because she's been on set working with Kiefer Sutherland. So it's all good.
No, I booked it. Yeah, that was last March, I think. March and April. So it's been almost over a year now. And it's funny because I have like, I didn't take a lot of pictures, but because I still get nervous about the like no pictures on set. So like, obviously if it's of myself, I've taken photos, but I don't post it until it comes out. So a lot of people are always like, oh, you just booked. I'm like, no, I did this like a year ago.
It's hard as an actor to have to sit on our successes like that publicly. In a profession, in any artistic profession, I think, but in a profession where celebrating yourself can be difficult anyway, and then to have the professional mandate really to not shout it from the rooftops when that's all you want to do. It can be hard. I'm curious, like, how did it feel with the premiere coming out now after so much time having elapsed from the high of the booking? Like, what was that experience for you coming back to it after so much time?
It's definitely exciting. Like I kind of mentioned before, I don't think I realized the enormity of it until now, because Maida Golding is somebody that I worked really closely with, and she's obviously the star of the show. And seeing her in Times Square, I don't know if you've seen it, Erin, being in New York, but like huge rabbit hole billboards taking over Times Square, and like Paramount Plus's Instagram shuts down and devotes it just to rabbit. Like, it's just, I mean, she must feel on top of the world, and I mean, I kind of feel on top of the world through her, but I don't think I understood, like, I got it. And it's also kind of nice to come back to it now because people know what the show is now. Whereas before, when I was like, yeah, I did this thing with Kiefer Sutherland, it's called Rabbit Hole, they're just kind of like, oh, okay, like what, So now it's nice to say it, and people have an understanding. And it's also nice too because it's been on my resume for almost a year now, and no one's they haven't had a show to associate it to. And now I feel, or at least I hope now, that when I go out for future auditions, they can see it and be like, oh, okay, she was part of this production, and she worked with these people, and like, okay, and then as far as celebrating, to your point on that, and I actually went out, so I ran into at the premiere, I ran into another actor that was on set on the same day that I was there. And we ended up going out for, I think 2 weeks ago, we just were like, let's meet up and let's go for dinner and stuff. So we did that, and we were just at a bar restaurant just downtown. And the Rabbit Hole preview came up in the restaurant. And he was kind of feeling a little like, oh, like, and I was like, you know what? F it. We worked really hard to get on that show, and I was like, let's raise a glass and celebrate. And there was like people next to us, and I shamelessly was like, we're in this, like, I just like, why do we not get to celebrate that? Like, because we're actors, or I feel like people look at us like, oh, they're so actor, but it's like, no, we work hard, and it's a big show, and I mean, hopefully more to come, but you want to enjoy it, as it happens, and it plays at my work sometimes, the preview, and I don't say it at work, but the preview comes on and I have an inner moment that's a little like, I'm in that.
You don't know it yet, but you're walking by a future celebrity.
Exactly. Do you want me to sign that for you? You better keep it. It's going to be